Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to dive into Amazon Games' brand new MMO New World. I'm going to give you my opinion on whether you should play the game. So with that, let's get right into the video. Alright, to start things off, I want to talk about servers. And we can't talk about servers if we don't mention server congestion. At launch, server congestion was a huge problem, and people were waiting anywhere from 3 to 20 hours to actually be able to play the game. Now, thankfully, in the past 4 to 5 days, I have not experienced any server congestion at all, and I've been able to instantly log into my server, and my server is at max capacity. So I think that kind of the overall hype has died down, and the people that are only going to play the game once or twice are now done. And so you shouldn't have any server congestion problems unless you're on a big server with streamers on it. Now, if you're on that server, it's not going to matter what you do. There's always going to be congestion and you're going to struggle getting in. Now, a lot of people were really upset with this, but there's nothing that Amazon Games could have really done differently. Right now, each world is capped at 3,000 players, and they slowly increased it as the launch day went on. And people were complaining just to increase how many people can be on a server, but that brings problems that overall couldn't be fixed. At 3,000 people, it's a good balance to where there's not too many people gathering nodes or too many people at a certain questing place. If they increased it to 5 or 6,000, you would never be able to get resources like iron and steel and stuff like that. The nodes would be constantly mined. There'd be too many people. And the quests that require you to kill mobs, you would never actually get them done. There'd be too many people there killing them too fast. And so in the end, they did a really good job on launch, capping the servers, and they just announced that World Transfer will be live any day. So if you and your friends had to split up to actually play the game, you now can join worlds and play together how you wanted. But overall, this launch was extremely successful. It's probably the smoothest launch I've ever actually seen in a game, especially MMO. Once I was actually in the game and got past the queue, I was never kicked, never experienced any game-breaking bugs, and honestly, I'm extremely happy with the actual server quality and the connection. And overall, as far as servers are concerned, this game did everything right. So, next let's get on to questing. Now in the beginning, questing can be extremely repetitive. Basically, you go to an objective, you either gather chests, or you kill things, and that's it, in the beginning. And in the beginning, mobs are relatively easy to kill, so it's very mundane and repetitive. But thankfully, as you go farther into the story, you unlock expeditions, and the mobs get harder and harder to kill and have different abilities and actually can mimic some of your own abilities. And it becomes a lot more complex of you actually have to start blocking and using potions and stuff like that to stay alive. Now, a lot of people are calling this Running Simulator 2021. And while that is correct, you do have to go all across the map in this game all the time, but it isn't required. I am level 29 and I have teleported for every single quest. Now people think that, oh no, I'm going to run out of Azoth, the teleporting currency, and I'll have to run. So they just run and they don't use their Azoth. But what they don't realize is mobs drop Azoth. You get large amounts of Azoth from completing the quests, and most people are probably capped on Azoth and don't even realize it. It's not hard to get, it's very easy to get, and so if you feel like you're running an extreme amount, start teleporting more. It'll save you time and it'll keep you enjoying the game a lot more. Now next, I want to hit on leveling. Now a lot of people are complaining that it's way too hard to level, when in fact, leveling is extremely easy in this game. If you do the side quests in each town, you'll be over leveled for the main story by 4 to 5 levels. And most people don't realize is when you go to a town and your main quest is in that town, if you pick up all of the side quests, they usually are along the way to the main quest. They're designed to be done together. And if you do all of these, you don't have to do any other sort of XP grinding. You will be plenty high enough level to do the main story quest. You'll actually be above it. And so just start doing your side quests, and say you're farther along the game now, you skipped your side quests, you can go back, and the early ones are going to be kind of boring, very easy, several levels below you, but they will actually start to increase in level to match your own, and you'll actually get good gear and good rewards from them. So I highly recommend you do all your side quests. Now we have to talk about PvP. This game was originally just a PvP game, and I have to say, with how that in mind and how it's changed, PvP is still a huge part of the game. Another thing with XP is you can actually enable your PvP out in the wilderness while you're just questing, and you get an increase in XP bonus for having it on. Now you have to be careful. You can also die, and then you'll have to run back and keep doing this. So I only recommend doing this if you're in a big group. But if you're in a big group, there's no reason to have your PvP off. Just go out, quest. If your group's big enough, people aren't going to mess with you, and you'll get a nice XP bonus. Now to the actual PvP content, I love it so far. So I'm in the Syndicate faction on my server, and right now we are pretty much steamrolling the entire map. We are a very war centralized faction. We basically declare war as often as we can. We're constantly fighting in these huge PvP battles, and they're so fun. And I think the thing that makes it most fun is pretty much anything is viable. There's not people just using one certain meta and that's the only thing you see. People are using every single weapon in the game. It's fun, it's chaotic, and you're gonna die, but when you do survive and you kill people, it's the best feeling in the world because you get a ton of XP, a ton of weapon XP, and honestly, I just love the whole PvP system as a whole. Now, all in all, I love New World. It's fun, exciting, and I love MMOs, so I knew I was going to love this straight from the start. And I highly recommend that all of you at least get the game and try it, and at least get to level 20 to 25 before you make your decision on whether you're going to keep playing the game. Now, one thing I do have to say about New World, it is a very, very grindy game. And the grindy part is actually the gathering and the crafting. It takes an extremely long amount of time to get your gathering high enough levels to be able to craft your weapons that you need. Now, you don't have to do any gathering and crafting technically in the game. You could buy everything you need from the market board, but that's get very expensive, and eventually you will run out of money. So if you have a ton of time, this game is great. If you're a more casual player with a very intensive job that can't play a ton, it's going to be harder to reach endgame, but it still can be done, and I highly recommend that all of you try this game and give it a chance. So, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Appreciate, I could pick it up. Living on